Raider Nation, something's brewing in Vegas. And it's not the slot machines this time. There's trouble in the trenches. And if you're a real fan, this update will hit hard. The Las Vegas Raiders just got some news that could shake up the entire defensive game plan. Christian Wilkins, the star defensive tackle we all counted on, might not be ready to go. And Raider Nation, that's got alarms ringing. Now listen, Wilkins hasn't been seen in a walking boot. That's a good sign. But let's be real. The whispers about his foot, the Liz Frank injury, aren't going away. That kind of injury lingers. It doesn't just vanish, and that's what's keeping coaches, fans, and analysts on edge. Yes, he's been showing up to OTAs. Yes, he's working hard, but that foot isn't 100%. And Pete Carroll, the Raiders' new head coach, put it plainly, this has been a difficult recovery. He's done everything he needs to do, but he's not ready to get back out there. That's not what Raider Nation wanted to hear. Before we dive deeper into what this means for the team, take a second, subscribe to the channel, smash that like button, and hit the bell so you never miss a single update from the Silver and Black. Now, let's get back to it. So, what now? With Wilkins' return uncertain, someone has to step up. The Raiders need their next man up on the D-line. Big time. Names like Adam Butler, Byron Young, and John Jenkins have to be ready to make noise. If they don't, the defense is going to struggle to contain the run and get pressure. And let's not forget the cap space. The Raiders still have room to sign a proven free agent. Could they go after someone like Akiem Hicks or Linval Joseph? It's not off the table. Bottom line, Wilkins' injury isn't a death sentence, but it is a warning. This team has depth, but it needs to use it wisely and act fast. Stick around, Raider Nation. This season's just getting started, and it's already unpredictable. Raider Nation, the whispers are growing louder. Christian Wilkins, the backbone of the defensive line, isn't recovering like everyone hoped. It's May, and while there's time before kickoff, concern is already creeping through the Raiders' locker room. Head coach Pete Carroll didn't sugarcoat it. We're in the middle of a long, challenging process. He's been with us every step, but it hasn't been easy. That's not just coach speak, that's concern. What's alarming isn't just the injury, it's how long this is dragging on. Surgery happened months ago, yet the coaching staff is still uncertain. In the NFL, silence around an injury often speaks volumes. And right now, the silence is deafening. Let's be real, Wilkins isn't just another player. He's the engine next to Max Crosby on that defensive line. Without him, this defense loses its teeth. Right now, my concern level, it's a 6 out of 10 and rising. Not because of a boot or a limp, but because Wilkins is the second most vital player on this defense. And in this system, if the front four can't pressure the quarterback, the entire backfield suffers. We saw flashes of promise from the secondary, sure, but make no mistake, it starts with the pass rush. Now, with Wilkins possibly missing time, the pressure shifts. Other guys have to rise, fast. Here are 6 names who need to lock in and deliver if Wilkins can't suit up. Number 6, J.J. Peages. The 6th-round rookie brings size, 6'2", 309 pounds, and hunger. He's raw, but he could clog lanes and eat up blockers if developed fast. 5, Tonka Hemingway. Drafted a round earlier, Hemingway isn't the same mold as Wilkins, more of a hybrid edge lineman. But his athleticism could give the defense some flexibility. What's the key word here? Versatility. No one player on this roster can replace Wilkins outright, but together, they'll have to find a way. The deeper you dig into this Raiders defensive line, the clearer it becomes. No one player replaces Christian Wilkins, but someone has to try. Between J.J. Peages and Tonka Hemingway, the coaching staff clearly leans toward Hemingway. Maybe because of draft capital, maybe because of athletic upside. But let's not ignore what's obvious. Peages might actually fit Wilkins' role better. He's a space eater, strong, low to the ground, and built to disrupt inside. Hemingway's more fluid, sure, but he plays like a hybrid, not a pure interior force. Now, here's where the real conversation begins. There's a gap, a tier break, between the rookies and the next group. And leading that next tier is Johnny Lowell. Last season, Lowell showed flashes, strength, quick hands. He played like he belonged, even if his weight hovers just under 300 pounds. But in today's NFL, it's not just about weight. It's about leverage, explosion, and heart. and Lowell has all three. Still, if I were on the Raiders' strength staff, I'd be in his ear today. We need you to anchor this line, gain 5 pounds, hold that middle, free up Max, help Malcolm Coons eat. Be the guy Wilkins was going to be. Because make no mistake, without Wilkins demanding double teams, Crosby and Coons will be facing extra attention, and that could unravel the defense quickly. So, who's the most important player if Wilkins misses time? Hold that thought, we're almost there. Before we get to the top two, let's talk number 3, Leki Fotu. Fotu's name won't turn heads, but this is a moment for him. Signed as a free agent this offseason, expectations are low, but opportunity, it's massive. If Wilkins can't go, Fotu becomes that rotational clog in the trenches. His job? Simple. Draw the double team, eat the contact, collapse the pocket. No one's asking him to be a game wrecker, just to hold the line. Because in this system, if the interior folds, the whole structure falls. There's a reason Leki Fotu's name came up. He's the biggest body on the defensive line right now. Unless you're counting long shots like Tank Brown, Lolo Tsi, the international pathway guy, or undrafted rookie Eva Travin, Fotu is your most physical interior presence. But size alone isn't enough. If Fotu wants a real role this year, he's got to absorb double teams, hold the gap, and clear the way for the stars. That's the job. Now here's a move that might surprise you. I'm putting Tyree Wilson on this list. Yes, the former number 7 pick. Yes, an edge rusher. But when Wilkins isn't in the lineup, this defense needs bodies inside, and Wilson has played inside before. He's big, explosive, and, when healthy, a mismatch nightmare. But let's be honest, Wilson's time is now. No more potential, no more waiting to develop. This is put up or shut up season. And if Wilkins is out, that clock speeds up. Wilson must show he can rotate inside and produce, consistently. The Raiders are stacked with tweeners. Wilson, Hemingway, P. Gaze. They all float between defensive end and tackle. Great athletes, sure. But in the trenches, that versatility only matters if someone can anchor the line. And that brings us to the most important name on this entire list, Adam Butler. The Raiders handed Butler a 3-year, $16 million deal this offseason. If Wilkins isn't available, Butler becomes DT1, whether he's ready for it or not. Here's the truth. Butler is best as a DT2 or DT3. He thrives when eyes are on someone else. Last year, he made plays because offenses were focused on Crosby or Nichols or other rushers. But now, if Wilkins is out, Butler becomes the focal point. He's got to lead. He's got to set the tone. He's got to be the anchor. And this isn't just hype. This is coming from someone who begged the Raiders to re-sign Butler over Spillane, over Hobbs. Why? Because Butler makes the guys around him better. That was Wilkins' job. Now it's his. Last season, Adam Butler thrived because opposing offenses were focused on stopping the stars around him, Crosby, Nichols, and the rest of the pass rush. Now, the spotlight might shift. So, what happens if Wilkins is unavailable? Can the Raiders look outside the building for help? Let's be honest, the list of legit free agent options is short. This isn't the time of year when elite talent is sitting around waiting for a call. Still, there are a few names out there. But this isn't about throwing 20 random players at the wall and hoping one sticks. This is about identifying only those veterans who could realistically contribute, and who the Raiders might actually call. Are any of them a true Christian Wilkins replacement? Number? That kind of player doesn't just show up in June, but there are guys who can take on some of the dirty work, absorb double teams, plug the run, rotate in, and keep the line fresh. The key here isn't just talent, it's fit. The Raiders have a specific vision for this defensive front. Fast, versatile, and tough. Anyone they bring in will need to match that mindset right away. So, before we move into names, here's what matters. The Raiders don't need a star. They need a pro, someone who knows his role, can take pressure off Crosby, and hold the line until Wilkins is back. Let's break down the few names who actually make sense, and why they might get a call. Let's start with a big name. Jadeveon Clowney. No, he's not a defensive tackle. But the Raiders have already shown they're comfortable with versatile players who can shift between roles. Clowney fits that mold. He's logged 15 sacks over the past 2 seasons and remains one of the best free agent defensive linemen available. While he's best suited as an edge rusher, Clowney's strength against the run and his experience could help offset the loss of Wilkins, even if it's by committee. He also has a connection to Pete Carroll from their time together in Seattle back in 2019. That year, Clowney posted an impressive 87.3 PFF grade over 650 snaps. If the Raiders want to upgrade their overall defensive front, this is the most talented option left. But if they're specifically looking for a defensive tackle, then Quentin Jefferson makes more sense. Jefferson spent 5 seasons with Carroll and even had a short stint with the Raiders in 2021. While he didn't overlap with defensive coordinator Patrick Graham, he remains a respected veteran, especially by Max Crosby, who has praised Jefferson's influence on his own development. Jefferson is 32 now, and while he may not crack the final 53-man roster, he could bring valuable leadership and push the young guys to improve. Still, if things get truly desperate, there's one more option: John Jenkins. Jenkins was with the Raiders last season and knows this defensive system well. He's 35, recently signed by the Ravens after the draft, and wouldn't cost much, likely a 7th-round pick. He wouldn't be a long-term answer, but if Wilkins ends up missing time and depth becomes a serious issue, Jenkins is a plug-and-play veteran who could steady the interior. Let's be clear, none of these names replace Christian Wilkins. The Raiders built this defensive line around his presence, and there's no true replacement available in late May. But if they absolutely need to act, Clowney brings impact and versatility. Jefferson adds depth and leadership. Jenkins is a short-term emergency backup. The good news? The Raiders have enough depth that they may not need to make a move at all. But if Wilkins' situation doesn't improve, the front office has a few cards to play, and enough cap space to make something happen. Now, all eyes are on Wilkins, and every Raiders fan should be hoping for the same thing, that he comes back healthy, and soon.